good. Taking a small pause, folks, just to make sure technically we're all okay. Yeah, I believe we are live, so that should be good. So here's the reasons why a lot of people prefer franchises. You're purchasing or investing in an established brand and market share. You've got standard operating procedures on running the business, right? It's like literally they give you a manual, everything is fixed, everything is sorted out, even your supply chain, everything. Literally, you don't need to plan anything, they give you everything. Likelihood of success and positive cash flow and potential income is higher with a franchise than starting from scratch without any established brand, customer, or market share if you have not done business before in Canada. And of course, you can also buy a business that's not a franchise. That's obviously always an option. Another advantage of franchises is ongoing national marketing. So you don't need to worry about competitiveness, promotions, marketing. It's all done in the head office, and you pay the franchise and royalty fees all based on these various activities that support your franchise. Training of the owner and staff, that's paramount, right? You're going to get training, on-site training. Ability to visit existing franchise locations to understand the business model, right? So it's already existing. It's not something that didn't exist before, unless it's a franchise with no location in Canada. Proven track record of the franchise. Again, you can pick and choose the franchise that you believe will be a good fit and has a proven track record in the market that you're planning to invest in, right? You're not trying to reinvent the wheel. That's very important. So let's look at the following. Before we begin, it's important to note that you can also come up and apply for franchise business under the federal work permit program, which is the C10 LMIA exempt stream. So you don't need to 100% go to the provincial entrepreneur program. You can opt for the federal program if for whatever reason you don't want to go through the provincial route, or it's not eligible, or you're not eligible. This would not be obviously specific to a province because it's federal, but you would need to prove significant benefit to Canada in order for IRCC to approve your entrepreneurial work permit under this federal program. Typically in the big cities, in the middle of Toronto or Vancouver, franchise purchases or startups should be significant. Otherwise, you have to move out of the province to buy these small to medium-sized franchises to have the ability or eligibility to be approved under the C10 entrepreneurial self-employed work permit. As well, keep in mind that converting to a permanent residency via the federal programs, such as the C10, will require you to hop on the express entry train. So it means you need that eligibility, or transitioning into the provincial programs. Again, one advantage to keep in mind for this program is that if you do invest in an existing business, such as a franchise, and it's large enough and it's ongoing, and maybe you don't have your work permit yet, you could potentially obtain 200 points in express entry through an LMIA sponsorship, as you've already made the investment in the franchise, and potentially you could arrive with a PR before you continue your franchise. So that is one advantage of the federal program, but there are disadvantages because not everyone will have the eligibility for express entry. It's all, or the investment amount may not be as significant, or they're not purchasing it before they run it, right? The operation is not running before you actually invest in it. Potentially you're looking at a new startup. So there are disadvantages, but there's also advantages. It's also possible that you need to meet specific eligibility criteria. So the business you're purchasing, whether franchise or not, there's a lot of options, right? It could be a franchise, it could be not a franchise if you want to go the federal route. But with the provincial, that's the discussion today, and that's what we're going to cover. Whether you want to invest in a new franchise or existing one, the sky is the limit. So many brands are now franchising and selling in businesses in Canada. You could be buying very established premium brands such as McDonald's, Tim Hortons, KFC, Subway, Pizza, Thai Express, or other similar food franchise locations. You can also opt for newer franchises which are less costly but also less established brand-wise. And if you prefer to stay away from the hospitality sector, I could understand. There's numerous franchise business opportunities as well in the services industry, real estate, construction, renovation, even education franchises such as Oxford Learning and so forth. There's millions of franchises out there, trust me. Some useful advice that I can give you to any applicants who's looking to invest in a franchise for immigration to Canada is you need the following. You need to connect with franchise brands, whether direct or through a franchise broker. The seller always pays the commission, so you don't need to worry about that. But a lot of big brands, let's say like Tim Hortons, don't work with franchise brokers, so keep that in mind as well. You need a franchise lawyer, not any lawyer, a lawyer who specializes in franchises, okay, to review the financial disclosure documents and other terms and conditions of the master agreements before you commit to invest in a new or existing franchise. You will need a valuation company to check the true value of the franchise business if you're buying an existing location of the franchise. You will need to plan your immigration correctly based on the franchise investment. You cannot invest or plan before you know whether it will affect your immigration plan successfully or not. And one of the best shows to attend is the CFA, Canadian Franchise Association. They have their national convention here, April 1st, this weekend, here in Toronto, but they have events all across Canada. You can also go to their site. And again, if you're looking to immigrate and buy a franchise and you don't know where to start, well, personally, I've done a lot of research because I was looking at investing in a franchise as well. So I've gone through the process to the dotted line. Didn't sign, but went all the way through. So I do have some knowledge about that. Okay. So we're going to cover which provinces allow franchises and what restrictions may apply for the entrepreneurial programs. And if you're not familiar with entrepreneurial programs, you got to keep in mind we've got our other videos and articles that are available to review. Entrepreneurial programs in Canada, the provincial ones, allow you to submit an expression of interest with a business plan to buy or start a business. You're interviewed, you have a net worth audit, you're approved, you apply for your work permit, you come and run the business or start the business for the duration of time that's stipulated according to your business performance agreement with that province. So it could be 6 months, 12 months, 18 or 20, depending on your province. And then you would potentially be nominated for permanent residency. So that was a crash course in provincial entrepreneur program. So when we're saying yes or no now about the province and whether it accepts new franchises or existing ones as part of your investment entrepreneurial program business plan, you got to keep this in mind. Each province will have their own restrictions in terms of ownership structures and percentages of maybe purchasing an existing business, right? What percentage? What are the requirements? Previous ownership restrictions and timelines. How long should have the previous owner owned the business before you're eligible to purchase it and apply under the provincial entrepreneur program? Exploratory trips to meet and visit the franchise location or franchisors in Canada. That's always mandatory, like with all programs, if you're buying an existing business. Eligible investment amounts and eligible expenditures for the business. So some provinces have restrictions for franchises. Candidates, so the applicants, must also provide evidence that they have received support from the master franchisor to operate the franchise location, right? How can you actually take over a franchise if there's no approval from head office, the franchisor? Remember, you're the franchisee, potentially, right? And the head office, that main brand that's selling you and leasing you their brand is the franchisor. So without having a master agreement and an approval from them, typically most provinces won't accept your franchise business plan, your expression of interest, or that intention to start or buy an existing one. Expansion or continued investment in the existing business, there's specific criteria. A lot of the provinces have. So this goes for all businesses. Each province will have their specific requirements. And again, you can watch our other videos and articles as well if you need a deep dive. So let's go through 9 provinces today and whether they accept new or existing franchises as part of your immigration and investment plan to come to Canada for permanent residency. Okay? And why are we doing 9 and why are we not doing 10 plus 3 territories? Well, Yukon and Northwest Territories and Nunavut, although they're great places, I've never had requests to start a franchise there, and we stay away from Quebec in most cases unless you are a French-speaking applicant and want to definitely go there. So we're covering the 9, and let's start with BCPNP, the BC Provincial Program. Any franchise investment in this province can only be eligible if the applicant can demonstrate that the proposed franchise is well established in the province. So ability to expand, sound financial track record, and at least be in existence for the last 5 years or more. So what does this mean? If it's a new franchise, it's a new brand that they're establishing in the province, they won't accept it. The BCPNP will consider the purchase of an existing franchise location as an eligible business if it includes expansion improvement plans that is consistent with the franchisor's requirements. So that's key as well. So they're not just going to accept you buying a franchise. It's all about expansion and growth and significant benefit. Number 2, Saskatchewan. And again, this is in no specific order of preference. This is just the way it is. Saskatchewan PNP. New and existing franchise purchases are allowed in the province of Saskatchewan for the entrepreneurial program. But there are some restrictions in terms of the operating expenses and startup expenses. So for new businesses, they will consider 6 months operating and startup expenses as part of your business plan and commitment. But for existing or new franchises, only 3 months of the operating expenses can be considered as part of your business plan in terms of operating expenses, eligible operating expenses. So it means you can do it. There's just some restrictions in terms of how you prepare your business plan and your investment amounts. In Ontario, new and existing franchises are allowed outside of the Greater Toronto area, right? So that's the GTA. So that's Durham, Halton, Peel, York. These areas would be considered Greater Toronto area. So existing or new franchises would not be allowed. If you have your own franchise, you're a franchisor, yeah, maybe you could start that in Toronto. But if you're buying a new or existing location of an existing franchise, you won't be eligible under the Ontario Provincial Entrepreneur Program inside the GTA. But outside the GTA, Greater Toronto area, it's possible. So if you're outside of the city, certain distance, you can buy an existing or new new location for your franchise, right? Whatever franchise it is. And remember, under the Ontario Success Initiative, you can purchase a business or a franchise that's up for sale if it's in their database as well. But if it's not, you can just use the regular program of the Ontario PNP Entrepreneurial Program for outside of the Greater Toronto, which has lower investment and net worth and no franchise limitations. Let's look at Nova Scotia. Yes, new and existing franchises are allowed in the Nova Scotia Provincial Entrepreneur Program. Operating expenses are not an eligible investment for a franchise purchase or startup, just so you're aware for this province. Going to New Brunswick Provincial Entrepreneur Program, new and existing franchises are allowed but there's more scrutiny in this province under this program if you plan to purchase in a franchise or invest in one. More eligibility criteria than any other province for their entrepreneurial program are required for this specific program in this province if you're investing in a franchise. Okay, so if you want to go New Brunswick, it's possible with a franchise, but you've got to do your homework. It's got to meet their strict criteria in terms of the benefit they have, and there's a lot of requirements, and it's up to them whether to accept it or not. So if you're just doing a plain vanilla purchase, it may not fly with the New Brunswick provincial office as your entrepreneurial product. Manitoba, okay, Manitoba PNP, new and existing franchises are allowed in the province. However, restrictions apply in terms of goodwill value of an existing franchise. So if you're buying an existing location, if the goodwill value, if you want to include it as part of your investment amount, eligible investment amount, a proper valuation report has to be issued by a third-party CPA firm, and 1/3 of that valuation of the goodwill can be as part of your eligible investment amount for an existing franchise location investment. Alberta, not so strict, but remember, it's only a rural program. In Calgary, Edmonton, you won't be able to do this program at all, whether franchise or no franchise. New and existing franchises are allowed in the province under the Alberta Rural Entrepreneurial Program. Very few restrictions, very relaxed. To be honest with you, it's slowly becoming one of my favorite provinces in terms of business immigration because they have so few restrictions. And they have the lowest corporate taxes in all of Canada. Newfoundland and Labrador Provincial Nominee Program for entrepreneurs. New and existing franchises are allowed in this province. So good news. Prince Edward Island, yes, new and existing franchises are allowed in this province. And again, this is another one of my favorite provinces because they have so much support. And it's such a tight-knit community and province, and it is the smallest province in all of Canada. But it's a great province, and whatever business you want to buy or purchase, as long as it's not passive investments or any of the ineligible criteria, franchises are perfectly fine. And there you have it, folks, the outline of all the provinces' eligibility to invest in a franchise for your Canadian PR and entrepreneurial stream or investment stream. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we've got some interesting videos coming up in the next 4 to 8 weeks. And if you're subscribed, you'll know when our videos are released. We release 2 videos a week typically, besides webinars, a recorded video, and this live every Thursday, right? And if you're thinking about immigrating, well, permanently or temporarily, you're at the right place. I can guarantee you only one point. You will know what to expect when working with us. The entire process clearly laid out for you, and all the risks identified, including costs. Our legal agreements are based on payment milestones, which are linked directly to your application progression. We do not take 100% advance payment for any Canadian business immigration applications. And if you're looking for discounts, look no further. I know of a great online website called Amazon, and they've got millions of products for sale and promotion. But if you're looking for results in immigration, well, that's our expertise. No surprises, no promotions, just results. And we've got a $1 million liability insurance which protects you and us from mistakes or fraud, and as well as a dedicated client trust account with our Canadian bankers. Our team speaks over 9 languages, and we help applicants from over 49 different countries, and we're looking to grow that number. Click the link below this video and get a free email assessment for eligible applicants. And if you're ready to apply and you want a one-on-one session with me or any of my licensed immigration team members, you can also book a session directly using the consultation link in the description of this video. And if you've got questions, remember, we're here live every week on YouTube and Facebook, and hopefully back on Instagram soon at 11 a.m. Thursdays, North America Eastern Standard Time, where we answer all of your immigration questions for free on the spot. And yes, we are on our live right now, and we're gonna go to our YouTube and we're gonna watch and answer everyone's questions. So if you're on Facebook today, I do apologize. I will not be able to see your live comments and questions at the moment. But here we are, and we've got our little audience on YouTube. And if you're watching this later and you're like, what is he talking about? Well, there's a lot of live comments and questions that we're going to answer, because that's why we've dedicated our time for on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Hayat Khan says, hello, sir. Name MD Hayat Khan. Ah, very nice to meet you, Hayat Khan. Tejinder Singh. Hi, Tejinder. Thank you. I mean, you guys came in very early from what I saw. Bhupinder, Nanda. Yes, Bhupinder, how are you? Good to see you. I don't know, it's been such a long time since the last Thursday. It's weird. I don't know, time flies, I guess. Igbo Jesse Doris. Hi, Reza. Hello, Igbo Jesse. Nice to see you again. Somveer Kumar. Hello, Reza. Received biometric today, SUV program. Very nice, Somveer. Very, very nice. They're processing your application. So let's see how it goes. Good luck with that. Good news. Totally Chloe. Good day, Reza. Nice. Totally Chloe. You probably have the name that the nickname that I can probably remember the best, because it's so easy. Totally Chloe. I should come up with one for myself too, like totally something. I don't know. So come up with some names, maybe I should use one. Bhupinder, my question is about the latest news regarding the amendment in the law of property purchased by foreigners. Yes. Foreign knowledge to buy, but now work permit holders can buy. Yes, if you like, Bhupinder, what I can do is I can send you a detailed explanation that we have from one of the law firms that we work with on real estate, that outlines the type of and it was pretty obvious that was going to be amended, the purchasing of property in Canada, because people are here with work permits, and then maybe they want to purchase a property while they're settling here. Why don't they allow it? And then there's properties that are multi-unit are exempt now. There's land that has no property on it, even if it's residential, but no dwelling on it, are exempt now. So there's a lot of great new exemptions, because those exemptions did exist in Ontario before, but then this federal regulation came and pretty much messed everything up. But now they have it, so I'll definitely make it a point to send it to you, Bhupinder, and you can read through it and let me know, right? It's allowing many newcomers and potential future newcomers with work permits and other investment schemes and other non-residential investments to be exempt from this overall national real estate ban. Hayat Khan, name MD Hayat Khan, age 28, gender male, father name MD Tomba Motar, mother name, okay. Okay. Tejinder Singh, thanks, no problem. Yelunde Olasimbu, hi. Hello, Yelunde, or Yetunde. Hold on, my eyesight is going. I'm sorry, folks. Yetunde, nice to meet you online. Totally Chloe says, totally handsome, Reza. No, I wouldn't say handsome, but that you're on track there. Maybe totally truth, or totally raw truth. I like it. Totally Reza. That's good, totally Chloe. Yetunde, my visitor visa application is well over 9 months, since July 2020. What do I do? I would just reapply. You know what? After 9 months, what can you do with IRCC? Just reapply and then wait for them to process one of them. I've had people do that. It's so pathetic, I know, but they have this huge backlog that they can't even clean up. They promised to do it, right? If everyone remembers, they promised they would come up and do a clean slate, do a purge of the backlog. They haven't yet, and like every other thing, they're so slow, right? If everyone agrees, do a thumbs up if you believe IRCC is so slow, and it's probably one of the slowest immigration programs out there, except maybe the US programs that have people waiting in for 10-15 years to get a green card, which is a little bit more than ridiculous. But for visitor visas, right now, US, I mean, I know interview times are really long in certain parts for US, but IRCC is really ridiculous in certain parts of the world. Not all, certain. Um, Toli Chloe, Yetundo, I got a friend whose visitor visa got approved after 10 months. It really depends on his country where you're. Yeah, you're right, Toli Chloe. But I would still reapply if the $100 is not gonna, be a huge deal, and you haven't lost your job or you still have money in the account. I'd still do it. If you did have an invitation letter, get it updated, reapply. Sabri 7, hi Reza, happy Nowruz. Can I ask a question on TRV here? Yeah, for sure, Sabri. Happy Nowruz. Nowruz means new day, and it's the Persian New Year because it's the first day of spring, which was March 21st, 20 to 21st. So that was a quick explanation, everyone who don't know what Nowruz is. But yeah, anyone can ask any question here, whether it's a visitor visa, study permit, work permit, startup visa, entrepreneurial, investments, family sponsorship, express entry. As long as I know the answer, I will guide you. But again, this is not a one-on-one consultation. I do not know everyone's detailed profile. I'm just providing general information in the public forum that you can use as a base to continue your own research and application. So go ahead, Sabri, by the way. Totally Chloe says, totally cool, Reza. That's good. Totally cool. Maybe totally live. That's a good one, huh? Totally live, Reza. TLR. Interesting. If work permits refused for an obvious error by the visa processing center, reconsideration or just reapply. So the visa officer, so totally, if it's blatantly obvious they made a mistake and you have the refusal notes, yes, you email for reconsideration, or you can even web form. Okay, but like I would go with the email if you have the embassy email address. But it's got to be blatant, right? It's got to be like they missed something that you did include. So please make sure. Bhupinder, thanks in advance. I'm waiting for details by mail. Yeah, for sure, Bhupinder. Then you're planning your property purchase, which is good. Manitoba, Winnipeg is very affordable compared to like Vancouver, Toronto. This place is crazy. I don't know if anyone knows about Toronto, Vancouver property prices, but it's a little bit. Now, Yetunde says annoyingly slow. Yes, exactly. IRCC is annoyingly slow, everyone. We are hoping for better processing times across the board this year. We're seeing it in startup visa. There's the glimpse of it. But with visitor visas, certain regions, fast and good, but other regions, especially in Africa, I've seen a huge lag. Sabri 7. I have a rejection on December 2022 for TRV to visit my wife as a student to Canada. I am preparing a new application on the new portal. Okay, Sabri, my advice to you, you're an Iranian national. You've got to apply immediately. Okay, as soon as you have your refusal notes from the previous one, you can probably get it within 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, get it, reapply, because right now they're approving many Iranians, not all, many. Okay, and if and by the way, your wife can technically apply for a work permit too. By the way, a 3-year work permit through the new open work permit policy, special policy for Iranians. So just so you're aware, but apply immediately because now there's an opening in the embassy. They're letting more Iranians in because of a quota they have for the open work policy inside Canada. Now, I'm not going to go into the details because it's very political in the background. And like everyone knows, I don't like to get political on our live stream or on this channel. But it's the time to apply. Make sure you know why they refused you. Beef up your application, but speed and the timeliness of your application is now important. If you apply in 3 months, I don't know. But if you apply now, you may have a chance. So one of my suppliers that has office in Turkey can give me a supporting or advising letter. Would it be workable? What should be mentioned on it? Supplier. Yeah, no, I mean, not really. I mean, if you're going to Canada and you've got a supplier or somebody in Turkey, it's not going to give you any advantage for Canadian visa. So the key is you want to visit your wife or spouse in Canada, you've got to come in on a either a visitor visa or an open work permit, right? Because if she's studying full-time in an academic program, not language, you are eligible for a spousal open work permit. Okay, so remember that. But you've got to have solid application when you apply. So whether it's a visitor visa, because if you come in, you can apply for the open work permit policy for Iranians, or you can just apply for a spousal open work permit if your wife, your spouse meets the eligibility while she's here. Okay, I have a Dubai citizenship on Iran and Turkish, and I have a dual. Sorry guys, I know my eyesight is horrible. Like, what is it? He's Sabri said dual and I read Dubai. Holy moly, I gotta change my glasses, folks. If you think I should change my glasses, put up your thumbs up. I have a dual citizenship on Iran and Turkey, and I have applied via my Turkish citizenship last time, and my wife is still student and would be finished end of April. Okay, so first of all, sure, Turkish citizenship, it's important where you're residing, right? If you're inside Turkey, from the looks of it or what I'm reading, you're applying as a Turkish citizen. You have assets, maybe you have a company, maybe you're employed, right? You've got to show ties to your home country being Turkey. You can also show ties to your home country in Iran, right? But the key is you can apply for a visitor visa. You could also apply for a spousal open work permit, right? And depending on your wife's eligibility of her academic program. Again, if she's in a private college, then it has to be a degree-based program. If she's in a public institution not studying language, you would be eligible. But again, the embassy may refuse. You just have to make sure you have the refusal notes, you've got a good application, and you make an application quickly, because now is the time to apply. But it's not 100% Sabri, okay? So don't think the fact that I'm telling you this, you're going to be approved. No, you just have to be very careful and plan your application. But at the same time, timing is everything. And if you have experience with dealing with any IRCC embassy around the globe, you know timing sometimes is the difference between a refusal and an approval. Okay? So there you have it, folks. We've answered your questions on the live, and if you're watching or this video later on, you're like, what is this guy talking about? How come he's got a weird animal in the back? Well, it's a leopard. And why do we have a leopard? Well, it's the name of our company, Ingwe Immigration. And Ingwe, like a lot of you may know, or a lot of you may not know, means leopard. It looks different, and that's sometimes with immigration. You immigrate to a new country, you may look different, right? We like the characteristics of the leopard, right? Very strong charisma, a little bit, looks different, but unique and strong. And that's what we see in immigrants who come in to the country as well. Strong-willed. Maybe it takes them time to settle in, but eventually they succeed. And that's the characteristics of a leopard. But if there's no other questions, we'll be back here every Thursday, right? So next Thursday, we're back here at 11 a.m. local time in Toronto, North America Eastern Standard Time, to answer all of your questions on Canadian immigration, okay? So if there's no more questions at the point, of course, we'll be back next Thursday. We'll be releasing other videos, and keep tuned about our webinar coming up as well. Learn something new today, Ingwe leopard. Yes, Stoli Chloe. Ingwe is leopard, and it's funny, in Nigerian, Igwe is king. So if you remove the ends, I learned that from one of our clients. But yeah, it's a very unique name, and that's why we like it, right? Everyone's unique. Most of our clients are unique, and that's why we have a very unique name. But anyways, we're back here next Thursday. Thank you for joining us, folks. Thanks to everyone who joined today. Hayat Khan, Tejinder, Somveer, Igobo Jesse, Bhupinder, of course, you're here every week. We appreciate it. I'm going to send you that email on the property purchase in Canada and the regulations, so you can look over the changes. And then Yetunde, thank you. Toli Chloe, of course. Appreciate you tuning in today. Sabri7, good connecting with you. I don't know if I've seen you on the show before, but yeah, And then that's it. There you go, folks. Thank you, and we will be back next week with a new topic of interest, and you can ask any of your questions during our live stream that we plan. Thanks again. Take care, and we'll see you soon.